I don't know if I'll do the separate list. There's a separate list for the MCU, but we're doing the top 10 Marvel movies because, of course, Marvel is not only the MCU, of course. There's the X-Men movies, there's Spider-Man to the Spider-Verse, which is a Marvel movie. There's the old Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies and all the other Marvel movies that have come out over the years. And these are the top 10 Marvel superheroes of all time. Of all time. I'll go over DC next. Was I think DC wouldn't be surprising which movie's number one. Wouldn't be surprising. I think, I'm guessing always it's gonna be The Dark Knight, and I probably won't be. I'll probably be correct. I'll be going over that one later. But yeah, the top 10 Marvel superhero movies. Yeah, the first one is the Avengers. Of course, it's the Avengers. It's one of the most I think out of movies, this is the Marvel Cinematic Universe probably is one of the most influential film franchises in the recent decades, as a lot of movie series has tried to replicate the cinematic universe model. DC, the Dark Universe and various other failed cinematic universes that try to copy the MCU and has completely failed. DCEU is not really wise. And other cinematic universes it is a novel concept, but the MCU is the only one that works, and it's sad that Disney is trying to crash into the ground with its wokeness. But yeah, and then we have Star Wars. They try to make the Star Wars extended universe as well, trying to make Star Wars its own cinematic universe where all the movies tie into each other as well. And yeah, it's just kind of like they're trying to copy, Marvel and all that stuff. And yeah, and even Pixar, the people making theories about Pixar as a cinematic universe, which it really isn't, okay? Pixar is not really a connected cinematic universe. Next is Iron Man, the movie that started all. Hopefully it's not just MCU movies in the top 10, but yeah, because there's other movies that are made by Marvel that are on that, Iron Man, of course, you know, yeah, basically, Avengers, but the whole character development for the Avengers was in the previous movies. The only character that really that it really get much development is Hawkeye and Black Widow, because they were kind of like side characters in those other movies. But yeah, the four main Avengers, they had their own movies to develop the, characters, okay? Yeah, but Iron Man, that's, Iron Man and Captain America, the Thor and Hulk, they're the ones that were supposed to develop the characters, okay? The point of the Avengers, you're supposed to watch the other movies. They want you to watch the other movies. They really get to, know these characters, okay? Iron Man, of course, it's a great movie. It's, Iron Man. It started in the Marvel phase, next is the Winter Soldier, which is that. Number 3, Winter Soldier has a lot of great action, a lot of, great, has a great story, and yeah, the MCU is pretty, diverse as a, film franchise, but yeah, Winter Soldier, very great movie, Shield is no longer the ally, but the enemy, and yeah, Captain America had to fight the, assassin or his former friend, Million as on arrival at scenario, yeah, basically, yeah, it's a very great movie, action, good, yeah, next is Guardians of the Galaxy. Yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy, I think, is deserving on this list. And yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy is, as, I already went over in the other list. But yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy is funny. It has good story, hard characters and stuff. And yeah, and there actually have been movies that try to copy Guardians of the Galaxy. Suicide Squad is the most notable example. They try to copy Guardians of the Galaxy. All these characters who seem incompatible, but they have to work with each other throughout the movie and stuff, and they really tried to copy Guardians of the Galaxy, and it really failed. And you can really tell that the next second Suicide Squad movie is being directed by the exact guy who made Guardians of the Galaxy, which is something they sort of done the first time. Okay, if they really want to make a Guardians of the Galaxy like movie, make the guy who actually made Guardians of the Galaxy make Suicide Squad. So yeah, hopefully the second one is much more like Guardians of the Galaxy, because they're really trying to copy. They were really trying to make their own Guardians of the Galaxy type movie. Next is Spider-Man 2. Yes, this movie, I think, is probably the most overrated Spider-Man movie out of all these Spider-Man movies of all time. I don't really think it's the greatest Spider-Man movie. It's a good movie. It's a good movie. And the plot's good, all that stuff. And yeah, the story arc is great and stuff. But yeah, I don't really think it's the greatest Spider-Man movies. There have been best Spider-Man movies that have come out over the years. There was Spider-Man Homecoming. I think that's better than Spider-Man 2. Spider-Man Far From Home, I think, is better than Spider-Man 2. And Spider-Man the Spider-Verse, I think, is definitely better than Spider-Man 2. So yeah, I think this movie is really high due to nostalgia reasons only. The next movie is Civil War, called Civil War. Civil War is a, great movie, Civil War, I know And no, overrated does not mean bad because I always make out like overrated means bad. I still like Spider-Man 2 and I still like Endgame, but I think they're pretty overrated in terms of movies. Okay, Captain America: Civil War, I think, is excellent movie. It's basically, it shows the divide, between Captain America and Iron Man over the Sokovia Accords and the fight. It's really about that. And yeah, this is probably it's better than the Avengers movie that came out right before called Age of Ultron. It really showed that this movie was much more better than that movie. Maybe that movie should have been than that Avengers movie called Avengers: The Divide. Next is X-Men 2 Extreme Mind. I haven't really watched most of the X-Men movies. I've really only watched Apocalypse, Days of the Future Past, the Deadpool movies, the Wolverine movies, and Dark Phoenix. I haven't really watched any of the earlier X-Men movies. Next is Spider-Man, the old one. It's a good movie. Action is good. The characters are good. It's how Spider-Man became Spider-Man and, stuff. It's a good movie. It's decent. It's decent. It's a good movie to watch. I know someone doesn't really like this movie that much, but yeah, it's a good Spider-Man movie. I will probably still be in like the top 5 Spider-Man movies. Next is Infinity War. I think Infinity War, it was, it's subverting expectations, but they did it completely correctly, unlike the last poop or as the last Jedi. But Avengers: Infinity War it's an excellent movie. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. The Avengers movies, there's 2 amazing ones, 1 good one, and 1 mediocre one in terms of Avengers ones. I can rate them all. I can rate them all out right now. The 4th one is still Age of Ultron. I still think that's the weakest of the Avengers movies in Endgame. Then the Avengers, then Infinity War. That's how my ranking of the movies are. Infinity War, I think it's much more better than Endgame. It just has its, of course there are plot holes, but there's plot holes in every movie, okay? Next is X-Men: Days of the Future Past. Yeah, it's a good movie. That's what it is, okay? I think this is the one X-Men movie I seen. It came out in like 2014. Next is Deadpool. Deadpool is amazing, okay? Deadpool 1 and 2, they're amazing, okay? Deadpool is Deadpool, okay? Deadpool is, Deadpool. He's this guy is basically here. Deadpool is a comedy god, okay? Because he's Deadpool. He's a god of comedy. And, I think Ryan Reynolds is, he's another one of those comedic geniuses. I think he's pretty underappreciated in films. I think he's really make more funny movies, and I think people, he'll be higher. But yeah, Deadpool is amazing. Okay, of course, if you can't, someday this guy here, you'll be able to see Deadpool. Someday you'll be able to see Deadpool. But yeah, next is Logan. Yeah, Logan is a very great movie. It's pretty sad and depressing. I'm not gonna spoil the ending, but yeah, it's a more dark and gritty Marvel movie, something that the MCU and Disney will never do. And this movie is why it's so sad to see Fox be bought by Disney because they made Logan is just a very 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 dark and gray movie, something that Disney will never do. Disney will never make a Captain America movie like this, or make a guy or any of the MCU movies like this. And they're just gonna go down the path of the woke. X-Men First Class, I have not really seen many of the Amazing Spider-Man. I have not seen it. Amazing Spider-Man. I have not seen the Web Spider-Man movies, so I'm surprised on this list because a lot of people don't really like the Web Spider-Man movies. Captain America: The First Avenger. Captain America: The First Avenger was a decent movie. It was not. It was a decent movie. I still wish that they that they didn't skim through the World War II segment in the movie. But yeah, it's a good movie. It's decent. Iron Man 3, I think, is probably one of the weakest MCU movies alongside Iron Man 2 and For the Dark World and Black Panther. I think those are probably the weakest MCU movies to me. Iron Man 3 is it's just kind of like, the Mandarin twist. It's a massive disappointment. I wish they, hopefully in Shang-Chi they show they actually have the Mandarin in the movie and not the non-Mandarin in the movie. And yeah, Iron Man 3 was just a disappointment. That's what it really was. It only made, made $1 billion because of China. Next to Age of Ultron, Age of Ultron was, it was kind of... The problem with this movie is just they said, oh, okay, they made it the same, but yeah, it's Avengers again, and yeah, it's it's the action scenes are good and all that stuff, but I think it's the weakest of the Avengers movies. I think a lot of people can agree with me on that one. I think it's the weakest of the Avengers movies. And yeah, next is the Incredible Hulk. I think this movie is better than Black. It's probably it's not one of the weakest MCU movies. I keep forgetting that this movie is a part of the MCU, but it is. It's the only MCU movie that lost money for Marvel. And yeah, the Incredible Hulk. It's an okay movie. Next is Endgame, and yeah, Endgame is the problem is with Endgame is half the movie is kind of like boring and stuff. It's just like there's references in this movie that and of course there's woke moments in this movie. If it wasn't for those if it wasn't for those woke scenes and all the real plot holes and stuff that don't make any sense, even more than Infinity War, even more than any other Marvel movie, or like the time travel plot holes that were caused by this movie. Yeah, this movie would be much more better. And of course, this movie would be much more better without Captain Marvel being in the movie, because Captain Marvel, see, was completely, utterly useless in this movie. And Iron Man was the one that actually saved the day instead of Captain Marvel. He's the supposed most powerful Avenger, according to Brie Larson. But yeah, Endgame, I think, it's pretty overrated. I don't really think that Endgame is really deserving of the, top 10 movies of all time. Especially Black Panther being the top 1 movie on, Rotten Tomatoes. But yeah, Endgame is still. I still put it. It still gave a. I still was satisfied about the ending, and stuff. But I just think that this movie, they could have cut some of the filler scenes out, and they really just made the movie feel longer, and cut some of the filler out of the movie. Next is Ant-Man. Ant-Man is good. It's a good small movie of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It's a heist movie. It's more smaller. The performance and stuff is great and stuff. But yeah, Ant-Man's 4-2. It's a middle tier Marvel movie. It's one of the older movies. It doesn't really get the love it really deserves that much. But yeah, it's kind of like it's not really. It's kind of like because but it's still definitely much more better than the For the Dark World. Next is Black Panther. Black Panther is overrated. Just because it got a high score on Rotten Tomatoes doesn't mean it's a good movie. Just look at Booksmart. It got a 97%, but still doesn't mean it's a good movie. But yeah, Black Panther I think is the most overrated out of the MCU movies, okay? Not Captain Marvel. Black Panther has a lot of problems with this movie. There's a lot of problems in this movie that don't make any sense. There's some plot holes in this movie that don't make any sense. Like, Black Panther comes back alive because they have to make him come back alive, okay? But yeah, and the biggest problem with this movie is the fight scene, okay? The fight scenes in Marvel movies should be good. And it's just like the final fight scene was just such a letdown. It was just a letdown, okay? You have these two guys in super suits fighting, but they find like ragdolls from a PS2 game, and that should not be the final fight scene in the movie. It shouldn't be two ragdolls fighting. Look at a good fight scene in the movie. Let's go watch any of the Avengers movies and take notes from them, Black Panther. And you have your fight, or even some of the solo movies. Any of the look at Spider-Man Far From Home. Look at Ant-Man. They have much better, or Thor Ragnarok. They have much better and much greater fight scenes. And then we have Black Panther coming in 2018 with this really awful fight scene, okay? It's probably on par of, Thor's final fight scene with the weird iron thing. Next is Thor Ragnarok. Thor Ragnarok is, pretty underrated on this list, but yeah, it's pretty great. It has the Hulk in it and stuff. The villains are great, and it's really funny. It's not really serious and stuff. And yeah, and it's kind of like the beginning of the movie is really funny, but at the end of the movie, it gets more serious and stuff. Next is that first X-Men movie. It's okay. It's not really an amazing movie, but yeah. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, it's very similar to the first movie. It has a lot of funny scenes, a lot of emotional scenes. I think that the first one is better because it kind of really develops the characters. But the second one is still more of the same. But for one of the few times, it's kind of like one of the more of the same. It kind of works better, And next is For the Dark World. This movie is not good, okay? Probably the second worst MCU movie in the entire... Third worst MCU movie. There's Iron Man 2, which is utterly forgettable. But yeah, For the Dark World is just not good. It's just, this movie is just, the problem is the villain is terrible. The villain in this plot is very forgettable, very terrible. The final fight scene is terrible. And yeah, this movie is bland. So it's a middle of the road MCU movie. Probably a 6 out of 10 movie. Next is Spider-Man Spider-Verse. Yeah, this is one of the most unique Marvel movies because it's animated and there's multiverse. I think this movie did the, multiverse time, I think multiverse, timeline much more. I know it's no, did the, timeline, time travel stuff and stuff better than Endgame. And yeah, it is pretty well on the list, surprisingly, considering, it's pretty well on the list. Next is the Wolverine. This movie is good. It's, CGI is decent and stuff, but yeah, this movie is good. It's good. It's better than the first Wolverine movies, and you can see that the Wolverine movies have been improving. It's definitely better than the first Wolverine movie. I think this is more of a better Wolverine movie than X-Men Origins Wolverine. Better than Homecoming. Okay, so they basically make, Spider-Man, how Spider-Man became Spider-Man. I like how the final act where they make, where Spider-Man loses his suit, so he has to prove himself that he's actually good without his superpowers, so he can actually be confident without his superpowers. And it makes for a really great final fight scene. Blade was a good movie. It's a really great action movie. Next is Iron Man 2. Iron Man 2, yeah, it's a dull movie. It's, the villain is the reason why I only remember that villain was like this whip-ass guy who whips people, but yeah, this movie was kind of, forgettable at the very most. Probably one of the worst of the MCU. Daredevil, have not seen it. Amazing Spider-Man 2, don't worry. And then we have X-Men Origins Wolverine. This movie sucks because they ruined Deadpool. That's simple. They ruined Deadpool, okay? Yeah, this guy's right. His nickname is the Merc with the mouth, not the Merc with the sealed face, okay? Deadpool. They ruined Deadpool in this movie, okay? They ruined Deadpool in this movie, okay? Do I have to explain why X-Men Origins Wolverine is the worst X-Men movie? It's even worse than Dark Phoenix. Dark Phoenix, at least they didn't ruin Deadpool and Dark Phoenix, okay? This movie, we're done, okay? Doctor Strange, yeah, Doctor Strange is good, it's a good movie, the story is good, they kind of ripped off the 14 billions from Inception, but yeah, it's, but again, movies copy each other all the time. Yeah, Doctor Strange is a good movie. It's not really the greatest of MC movies, but, it's a good movie. It's a decent movie. Hulk, yeah, this movie was not that great. Don't have to tell you why. Blade 2, it was okay. Blade 2. X-Men Apocalypse, yeah, this movie was not that great. So it shows that the X-Men movies just kept getting worse and worse over time. Apocalypse was not that great, okay? Apocalypse was kind of, disappointing. It was, really. And this movie really made me not really like Jean Grey. Because, oh, look, Jean Grey comes to save the day again, okay? That's what the X-Men series should be called. Jean Grey comes to save the day. Because that's what X-Men Apocalypse really is, okay? Spider-Man 3, yeah, it's good. I don't really think this movie should get to hate it. It's the final scene of Venom, New Goblin, and Sandman is pretty good. The final fight scene is good, where they have to fight 3 villains. I think the fact that there's 3 villains in this movie it makes the movie better. I think they kind of rushed the villains, but yeah, I still think that fighting 3 villains is a good plot idea. But I think that they sort of build up the villains overall, and yeah. Next is Spider-Man Far From Home. I think it's probably the, one of the best Spider-Man movies. It's funny, it has good story, it has, a very great villain, and yeah, next is Venom. Venom was a good and fun movie to watch. And they actually made Venom work without Spider-Man. The action scenes are pretty great where Venom beats up the cars and stuff. The movie had some funny and just, funny scenes in it, and yeah, next is Fantastic Four. Yeah, don't really remember this movie. Big Hero 6, that's a Marvel movie? It said the Disney logo. It doesn't say Marvel on it. Oh, it is based off a comic book. Oh. But yeah, Big Hero 6. That was a good movie. Yeah, it's a good movie. It's with a lot of heart. Next is Deadpool 2. Deadpool 2 is an amazing sequel to Deadpool. Yeah, that's basically what it is. Deadpool, more of Deadpool. And yeah, basically these 2 movies are probably be cherished by Deadpool fans because because Disney's gonna ruin Deadpool. Simple as that. X-Men: The Last Stand. Yeah, don't really care for the X-Men movies. Ghost Rider. Yeah, this movie was okay. Yeah, it was okay. Yeah. Doctor Strange again. Oh look, Captain Marvel. Okay, Captain Marvel sucks. Do I have to explain? Captain Marvel is the worst movie in the MCU. The worst movie in the entire MCU. It's the worst MCU movie. Yeah, worst MCU movie, okay? The Punisher, never watched it. Avengers again is on here. Ant-Man to watch, but yeah, it was kind of forgettable. I forgot this movie even existed. I forgot this. Well, I was going to rank all the Marvel movies, I forgot Ant-Man the Wasp even existed. Okay, I forgot this movie didn't even existed, and yeah, this movie was just forgettable. It's just it's a middle tier Marvel movie that's just forgettable. Next is Blade Trinity. Yeah, it was okay. Next is another Iron Man. Yeah, I haven't seen that one. Next is Dark Phoenix. Yeah, Dark Phoenix was terrible. It was still better than the disgrace to Deadpool, the movie they disgraced Deadpool. But yeah, Dark Phoenix was terrible. It's garbage. It's trash. Jean Grey is a Mary Sue. Explain all that stuff again. Let's not kill Jean Grey because Jean Grey turns good again because she friendship, blah blah blah, boy and kid movie plot, blah blah blah, and she beats villain and she dies. That's the entire movie. Dark Phoenix sucks. Don't watch it. I always summarize the ending for you so you don't have to waste your money, waste your time watching Dark Phoenix again, the whole movie. Okay. Next is Punisher Warzone. Have not seen it. Ghost Rider Spirit of Vengeance. Yeah, didn't really care for it. Fantastic Four. Yeah, I remember this movie. This movie was terrible. The CGI was terrible. They ruined Galactus. Okay, it's still better than the 2015 movie, but yeah, they ruined Galactus, so this movie sucks. Howard the Duck? No, this movie's garbage. Next is the Punisher. Yeah, this is now good. Fantastic Four. Yeah, it's Keaton took the bed. Yeah, now at the bottom right. So that's all the best Marvel movies. All of the best Marvel movies out of the list. And yeah, the worst Marvel movie, according to this list, the worst rated Marvel movie is Hulk vs. and Fantastic Four 2015. And yeah, that's basically it. Goodbye.